Alright, so we're inside the Microsoft 365 admin, and then we're going for clicking show all, and excuse me, we're going to go down to the Sharepoint. Okay. Excuse me. So inside the Sharepoint Admin Center, then we're going for sites and active sites, and when we go to active sites there, then we're just checking your first name company site. Right. So if I click the company site here, the URL, okay, so here we have gone through already that site, how to edit this page, front page of your company site. Then we went for excuse me, documents, and the features here in the documents. Then we also went for pages, and we created a page as well, and tried to go through exploring these features as well. We went for site contents, and in the site contents there's list, page we already did, document library we created, app we know how to add it, and then the subsite, that how to create a subsite. So we went for that as well, and we then try to check that how to go back to the parent site and then the subsite. So we could just go click this Sharepoint, or we can edit a link here as well, and create a link and then go to the subsite as well. Now, other than that, then yes, so for the main site, we can also say site collection. So there is all that configuration, well, pretty straightforward for a corporate there to try to give the users all these main features. So other than that, so this is the main site, and inside we have gone through these main options as well. Then there is on the right side there is a site usage, site workflows, and site settings, and then there is recycle bin as well. And obviously we understand that the share is only for sharing this site within your organization. And when we try to go for permissions, so we have also talked about that. If you are in the site contents and we click this, then there are settings. Normally it's the permissions we talked about before as well, that for the main site, what kind of permissions you want to give, that you want to allow the site to be shared by outside users, or you want to allow the only the site content with inside the organization. So other than that, so if we go to site contents here, so home, documents, pages, and then site content. Now I'm not sure why my WhatsApp on my machine is not working. Anyway. Okay, so I'll just keep the WhatsApp on the other side open on my cell phone, and because if there's somebody messaging me, Okay. Um, so if you go to the site contents, you can see the document library here, the form templates, the style library here. Now, uh, if we go to the document library, we created in last class our own named library, right? So your first name, document library, and then if we go click three dots here, then there's settings here, right? So document library and settings. If I click the document library under the site contents and settings, so I've clicked that settings for the document library, right? So there are many other functions and features here, versioning settings, advanced settings, validation settings. This is all for just the document library, right? List name, description and navigation, validation settings, column default value settings, audience targeting settings, form settings itself. Delete the delete this document library full if you want to delete. Well, that's these are the general settings, but there are permissions and management. So in permissions and management, suppose you want to allow or deny, there are levels of permissions there when we talk about SharePoint document library permissions, because you will have critical documents of the company inside the document library. So who has the permission to access this document or any of those critical company documents there, right? So permissions for this document library is here. If we go ahead and under the permissions management, which is inside document library, so we're going to click this permissions for this document library. So we're going to click permissions for this document library, and once we click that permission, so there is mentioned here your first name, company, site, members, and SharePoint group edit. So permission levels are edit, permission levels are full control and read, but there are many other permission levels there as well. um, so first of all, the message here is there are limited access users on the site. Users may have limited access if an item or document under the site has been shared with them. Show users, so that's just, it will show you this library inherits permissions from its parent, the company site. So we created a document library, and then there are permissions here. If you go to, there's stop inheriting permissions there as well. It's written, and then check permissions as well. If we first of all go for manage parent here on the top left, manage parent. So if we click the manage parent, so it then shows you more options on the parent level, where you, so this means that document library was created inside the company website, right? So this is the on the company website level. Then what are the permissions that you can give? Can you actually grant a permission to somebody? Can you create a group and then grant the permissions to the group? Edit user permission for single user. Do you want to edit the permissions? And remove user permissions, check permissions, and then permission levels, access request settings, and then site collection administrators. So all this is available, like it's a detailed permission structure that the SharePoint offers. Obviously, SharePoint is having all the documentation, so without permission or permission structure, how can you really secure the document? So there's a grant permission on the left side, right? So there's a grant, modify, check, section, and manage section. So grant, modify, check, manage section, right? Now here, since we are inside this permissions structure, so our first screenshot is now coming, and hopefully you're able to take that screenshot. So the first screenshot would be the company site permission section, permissions page actually, because that's where all the company-wide permissions for the users can be given. So company-wide permissions page. So this is our first screenshot now, and obviously your name should be showing there. This is not my name, your name should be showing there. So permissions, company-wide permissions page. I'm just gonna take the first screenshot now. Oh guys, I won't be able to put it on WhatsApp, so later I'll shift it to WhatsApp, the permission, the screenshots. Somehow WhatsApp is not opening in my machine. I was not able to actually just remove it and add it again. So I'll just still be putting it on OneNote. Week5. Let's screenshot one company site permissions page. So that's the screenshot one name. Well, this is the title, so I'll just put that title here as well. Go back. It's not loading for me. Khalid says, John says, can you go back? Yeah, I was actually waiting for this because it's the first screenshot, and so how did I come here, or how did I get here? Oh, okay. I see a message here, and that is from Khalid, or the screenshot here in the WhatsApp, and it's just loading. So how did I get here? I'll just click the back button, and how did I get here? Still permissions, so I'll further click the back button. So I was inside the document library settings. How did I get here? Back button again. So I'm on the company website, right? So when you went to the company website, this is how it opened, right? And home, documents, pages, site contents. So then I went for site contents on the company site. Then this is the document library that we created last time, right? So I clicked on the three dots of the document library that you created and settings, and inside that I'm going straight to the permissions for this document library. But once I showed you the permissions for this document library, then I went for that if it's getting all the permissions from the parent side, so what are the permissions on the parent side? So first I'm going to the document library level permissions, and it says here that it's whatever permissions are here actually are set up on the parent side, although you can stop and edit and then start giving your whatever type of permissions you want to give to whoever, or you can actually go to the manage parent and check it out that can you change it from up there from the parent level. So I'm going to click that manage parent, and that's where we were now. That's the screenshot here that was needed, and just Khalid, you can try to refresh the page or sign out, sign in. All right, so we were talking about this, so that's the first page here, right? And first screenshot here, and that I have put that screenshot already on OneNote, but my WhatsApp is not actually available on my machine, so I was not able to do that there. Okay, so that's the first one, and then we will just go ahead and the first one is grant permission, as we talked about, and create group. So if we go for the grant permission here, let's click the grant permission, right? And there, shared with your first name 01 here, it's showing there, invite people or shared with. So invite people is pretty straightforward, that you can just type your first name and the 5 users that we created. Either they may appear, or just in my case, showing 6 results. So it's actually not showing all the users, or in fact it's showing the uh, groups. Invite people, and if I just go down before I types anything, there's a show options here, right? So if I click that show options, well, that's just you want whoever you are inviting, you want that person to be able to edit, you want that person to be able to full control the whole site or read. And then there's your first name, the company site members can edit, company site owners have full control. You want to invite those guys who already have full control, obviously not. Or whoever you're inviting, are you giving them the full control, and are they the owners or members of the site or visitors of the site? Or separately, you want to just assign this one user here full control, design, edit, contribute, read, restricted view. So this is just the permission level that you can give. And if we go ahead and try to check it out, shared with this user already. But if I go for, oops, I think I put, no, I put with AMER. And yes, I actually don't see those 4 or 5 users. Can we apply multiple permissions? Yes, you can just add more users. And but when you say multiple permissions, so here you have to select any one, because you can't give read as well as edit to the same user, so there would be conflicts there, right? Full control, well, pretty much everything. Design has certain attributes that we're going to talk about, that what you can do, and edit has a little different. So yes, it's better to give one set, and technically yes, we can just give any one type at one time. Multiple full control plus design, or design plus edit. This is either you give one permission or the other one. So it works like that. Anyway, so here I'm just gonna go for the user that is available, because we're just exploring that how many types of permissions are there, and then how do they really work. And I'm just gonna select this user. This is the admin actually, and the rest of the 3 are your first name, your first name, company, sales team members. And it just sees those your company site members and team site members, so it doesn't show anything else, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select the first one with whichever account. It's my admin account, the one with which I'm logged in, right? But we're just exploring that, how, what kind of permissions are there. Send an email invitation to this guy that you have. And now if I drop down here, I can just go for company site owners full control, or I can just go specifically for this guy. So if you go for site owners, so apart from the site owners having full control, this guy will also, although this user is part of the site owners as well, this user will also be added to the site owners then. So, or separately just want to give full control here. So either you want to organize into this guy also be added to this site owners, or separately just assign full control or design or edit or contribute, restrict to this guy. So what we can do is we can just go ahead and check this full control here. But we will be checking that what, how much edit does, how much design do, what we can achieve with contribute only, and then read and restricted view. So but this is how we can just add a user. Other than that, there's shared with here. there's another one here, shared with. So with whom you have already shared this level, this site with. So it's just the two users, and once you go for shared with, and you see here, can I choose 01? Yes, you can choose 01. Yes. Okay, so shared with, once you go to shared with, so there's email everyone, like you want to email these guys that hey, I'm about to share with you this site, or there's an advanced written here as well, right? So shared with, and then there's a advanced written here, right? So if we click the advanced, then it simply puts us back to, hey, you want to go somewhere else, you want to actually create a group, or you want to just change the permissions of the site members, site owners, and site visitors. Anyway, so I'm going to go back here. So you've also clicked the advanced, and let's just go back to grant permission again. Let's just go back to grant permission again, and well, not much here other than that I wanted to show you that show options has these all ways to or levels or privileges to provide to the users, and you can just add users. Right now users are not showing here. In fact, I think I had 390 users here, didn't I? Oh yeah, I had 390 users. Okay, just checking. Alright, I'll just go back here. Well, majority of us don't have it, so that's why I was just curious that when I have so many users, if I type A, it still doesn't show. There are so many Internet users whose names start with A. It should. I see those 390. Oh, Ahmed sees 390 users on the same screen that I don't see. Okay, so welcome to Microsoft, guys. And well, it could be backend synchronization. Hamid, you're also using incognito mode or the regular mode? Oh, okay. Oh, regular. Okay, you're using regular. I'm using incognito. Oh, it's just normally it just when you type A, it normally drops all the users. But if you're typing full name there, so this means that if I go for the other names here, 02. Oh, it still doesn't. Okay, or maybe I created it with this. No, or this. No, or this. Okay, it's no way it's showing this. But yes, when I type suppose Alan, there's a user Alan. Oh yeah, now it's showing. Okay, so it has but thank you for sharing that. You have to type everything exactly. And how do I get there? My internet went down for 5 minutes. Ready? I showed it to Cedric, and did I miss anything after the first screenshot? No, we did not take any screenshots after the first screenshot. I was tempted to say that we took already 5 more screenshots. You missed a lot, so watch the video now. But no, we didn't take any screenshot after this. But how did we come here? Oh man, really? So you're not, well, which page are you, Brady? Because Cedric asked, so I went back and showed from the start everything. Okay, one more time, but I'm gonna be a bit fast now. And grant permission. Yeah. Brady, are you on the site? Hopefully you are on the site. Which site? This site. Your first name company site. Okay, so go to site contents, click it, then click then just go to the 3 dots here for your name, for your first name document library. 3 dots and settings. 3 dots and settings for your first name document library. And then here, permissions of this document library. Hopefully you're there. Permissions for the document library. And then we went for manage parent. Okay, cool. So manage parent, I'm just clicking that. Now we're on the grant permission. So grant permission, it does show you all those set of permissions, but then there is a create group here, and obviously the better way or recommended way is to always create a group. Suppose there's a sales team, there's a marketing team, there's a IT department team, or administration team. So maybe you would add the employee of sales department and into the group, into the sales group, and employee of the marketing department into the group, and if you want to take them out in order to remove. So you normally give permissions to the group, not the individual users, especially in a big organization. That would be very critical in big organizations especially, right? So I'm going to click that create group on the right here, create group, right? Click that. So then it says here people and groups. It takes us to that section, people and groups here. When we click create group, hopefully you're able to click the create group beside the grant permission, and then it's your first name dash, and as we were just talking about the examples, sales DEPT. We're going to group and it says about me. Well, anyway, so control A, control C, control V, we'll just type the same thing here as well, right? So create group. So these are SharePoint groups that we're, or group, SharePoint group that we're creating. Can't see create group. Gideon says I can't see create group. No. If I go back here, Gideon, are you on this page? And you see this? You don't? Oh, then I think you're on the previous page here. Did you see this? Is it a yay or an A? It takes a few seconds to open. Well, Gideon, which page are you at? Because then obviously they're not on these pages. So how do you take the first screenshot if you're not on these pages? Same page? Oh, okay. Hopefully you're logged in from the admin, but not seeing manage parent. Are you seeing stop inheriting? Or check permissions? Or you can share your screenshot on WhatsApp. So one picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay, so hopefully, so now picture is showing there. Oh, so you see delete unique permissions, grant permissions. I guess you're in wrong place. Delete unique permission? We're not there. Okay, so Gideon, can you go back to the site? Are you on the main site? Go back to the main site, Gideon. And this is the main site, right? And hopefully you're clicking on site contents, right? Once you see the site content, Gideon, are you there on the main site? I wish you could be a bit fast on communication, so I would know where you are or where you're not. So main site and then site contents, and then document library, 3 dots, right? site contents, then document library, 3 dots, settings. So there are 3 dots in front of the document library, settings. Okay, once you click settings, hopefully you have clicked the settings, and then go to permissions for this document library. And well, now you should be on this page, right? Unless you're on a wrong site, maybe you're on a team site, it's not a communication site. Okay, manage parent, I'm going there, and you still don't see that? So okay, well then Gideon, wait for us to finish this, and let me then record all this, and you can take a screenshot of what you have, and I'll try to, or I'll give you some more time if you want to follow the video and slowly go there and check it out where we are. So well, I'm gonna click that create group because well, if you're not there, it's okay, you can just send me the screenshot. You already sent me a screenshot there, right? So I can give you a bit more time to figure out from the video as well if you want. So I'm gonna click that create group. Oh, I have to convince that I clicked it. Oh, okay, so create group, and then I'll go for Control V and Control V here, and click for help about HTML formatting. Yeah, so now once we go to this, it's pretty straightforward. You know how we're just creating a group here, but what SharePoint asks when you're creating a group, so it's group owner. Obviously the site admin is already added here, but you can add anyone else. So can we add someone plus the first person, or well, one user is already added. If I just start adding another, so now I see certain number of users here. So if you see your first name 0345, yeah, you can check them out, and you can just select them. I'll just go for, yeah, I see that, Alan Reed. I'm just trying to check here. I'm gonna go for Alan Reed. If you just put your first name and you see the 5 users that you created, then use any one of those, like user, your first name 03, 04, 05. It says can enter only one name. Okay, there you go. So yeah, that's where I was gonna go. So yes, it can only enter one name. So we're gonna just, the second user that you were adding, just close that, and the site owner or the user that is already there, it's okay, just keep that user there. Okay, and who can view the membership of the group members, or everyone, and who can edit the membership of the group owner can edit the membership of the group, which is, or group members can also do that. Normally group members don't do that, obviously group owner will do that, editing the membership, right? And membership requests, allow requests to join, leave this group, no, or yes, it's up to you. So that's just a straightforward option there. You want users to request to make a request to leave or join. Okay, other than that, give group permission to this site. So choose a permission level group members get on this site. And what is a site? This is the main company site, because we're on the parent site now. So here you would then have full control, has full control. Now it's a little bit explaining that as well, but there's a link here that actually shows view site permission assignments here, right? I'm going to right click here on view site permission assignments. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to click open link in a new tab without and not going away from this page for now. And this is just showing you that same page that it was showing before, and view site permission assignments. So who to whom does assignments have already permissions have been assigned already is that site here. But this is a detail of what each of that privilege really do. So this would be the most interesting area that you would so if you are seeing all these types of permissions here with a little detail, then this would be your screenshot number 2, where your full control, design, edit, contribute, read, restricted view, what do they really do, what kind of permissions each has, so we can check it out as well. So screenshot number 2, this is permission group permission level. Yeah. Oh, it says mistake. What happened? Oh, okay, mistake. The mic one. So yeah, guys, screenshot number 2 here. Permission level. It's not just group permission level. For a single user, you can give these permissions. For a group, you can give these same type of permission. So it's not just group level permissions, but we are on the group level. That's why the permissions are showing here. But just say you can say SharePoint permission levels. The name of the screenshot number 2 would be SharePoint permission levels. SharePoint permissions permissions level. Screenshot number 2, SharePoint permissions level. I just want you to have these permissions in view inside your screenshot. SharePoint permissions level, or permission levels actually. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna go for and I'll put the screenshot 2. SharePoint permission levels. Actually, if you have done the other way, permissions level, that's also okay. You've already done that, or good to edit now. So permissions, permission levels. And okay, so if you have also taken a screenshot of the permission levels, now this is going to be very important. I'm gonna put that SharePoint permission levels. Sorry. And user permissions and permission levels in SharePoint, and customize SharePoint site permissions. So this is what we are seeing here, and yeah. So SharePoint site permissions and customize site permissions, and then create a group. That's what we were doing right now. Add users to a group. Yeah. So that's all we are already doing. Grant site access to a group. Obviously, you create a group, you attach permissions to that, and then you can attach it. So what I was actually trying to get to was, what is the permission inheritance, understanding, yeah, this one, understanding permission levels. So there is if you work on a site, you are working inside a site collection, right? As I said before as well, when you create the first site, it's the site collection, because you can create collection of sites inside that site, like subsites you can create, and many subsites you can create there, right? So every site exists in a site collection, which is a group of sites under a single top level site. So top level site that we created just now is, well, previous classes is your first name company site. That's the top level site, and under that you can just create more sites there. Top level, subsite, right? So the following illustration of site collection shows a simple hierarchy of sites, lists, and list items. We created lists separately as well, and we saw some templates of lists as well, like asset management and other templates. So in previous classes, right? So scope of permission settings, site collection, and then top level subsite. Then you can create lists in a subsite and list items there. So this is something that we have already gone through. Inheritance, an important concept to understand is permissions inheritance. By design, all the sites and site content in a collection inherit the permissions settings of the root or top level. So as soon as you create a subsite, it will just simply inherit unless you want to stop inheritance, right, on any subsite level. So when you assign unique permissions to sites, libraries, and items, those items no longer inherit permissions from their parent site. So again, one more thing is that overall, when you create a subsite, so all the permissions are inherited. But if you change that on the on the libraries, like document library, you change it, or on the items that you create there, like you upload a document and change the permission for one user who can see it and others cannot. So obviously that would not be inherited. Now you're giving unique permissions, and you're allowed to give unique permissions on a subsite level. So a site collection, administrator configures permissions for the top level site or root site of the whole collection. If you are a site owner, you can change permission settings for the site, which stops permission inheritance of the site. So the thing is that just stop the inheritance, and then just whatever you want to give, you can give that. List and libraries, we created that. Lists there. Document library, we created inherit permissions from the site to which they belong. So yes, that is inherited, what we are seeing now. If you are a site owner, you can stop permissions inheritance and change the permission settings of the list. We just talked about that we can just stop inheritance, right? List items and library files inherit permissions from the parent list or library. If you have control of a list or a library, you can stop permissions inheritance. So wow, okay, we just talked about it, but it's also saying for the same thing for the other things as well that you can create. So now default permissions level. So first of all, there is inheritance here, so I'll just put it here. As well, and then that would be a good reference. And the permission levels. So default permission levels allow you to quickly and easily provide common levels of permissions for one user or groups. Okay, and you can make changes to any of the default permission levels except full control and limited access, both of which are described more fully in the following table. So full control, well, contains all available SharePoint permissions. So this is just SharePoint permissions, obviously we're talking about. By default, this permission level is assigned to the owners group. It can't be customized or deleted. So this is already given to the owners group. Design, what can you do with the design? Create lists and document libraries. Edit pages, remember we create the pages as well, and apply themes, borders, and style sheets on the site. There is no SharePoint group that is assigned this permission level automatically. So automatically they don't get it, but you can just assign the design permission to a group. And then there's edit, add, edit, delete lists, view, add, update and delete list items and documents. By default, this permission level is assigned to the members group. So whoever becomes member of a group, a SharePoint group, gets the edit by default. Contribute, view, add, update and delete list items and documents. So that's pretty straightforward, but you can see that it's less than edit and design. And then there's read, view pages and items in existing lists and document libraries, and download documents. So, well, that's just read. But limited access enables a user or group to browse a site or page or library, site page or library, to access a specific content item when they do not have permissions to open or edit any other items in the site or library. So this is just limited access. Obviously, this level is automatically assigned by SharePoint when you provide access to one specific item. So suppose you were given access to one item, like one document library only, so that would be considered as limited access. You cannot assign limited access permissions directly to a user or group. Instead, when you assign edit or open permissions to the single item, SharePoint automatically assigns limited access to other required locations, such as the site or library. So anyway, you can just give access to one user or group, you just try to give limited access to one item, like one document in a library, and then automatically whichever user is allowed to see this item also automatically gets limited access to the rest of the items as well. Web only limited access. Web only limited access is a variant. Wow, this word variant is really, we get angry now when we hear this. Seriously, now we have to sit more at home. Okay, variant. So there are web only limited access is a variant of the limited access permission level, which enables users access to the web object only. So over the web, you can have access, although we are over the web here. If I just go up here, 2021, so yeah, this should be for online only. And approve, edit and approve pages. This is just approve, where you still get edit permission plus approve pages, list items and documents. By default, the approvers group has this permission. So when you give somebody the approve permission, that person can edit as well. And edit is a long list of what you can do already. And then manage hierarchy, create sites and edit pages, list items and documents. By default, this permission level is assigned to the hierarchy managers group. So there's another group that you can add somebody, and they will just be able to create and edit sites and edit pages. Well, pretty much what edit can do, a lot of that. And then restricted read, view pages and documents, but not historical versions or user permissions. So yes, you can just see the pages and documents, that's all, but you can't just go inside. Suppose you have uploaded a document, and because of the versioning feature, there are previous versions of that document as well. So restricted read cannot see previous versions of any document, just the latest version of that document, and also that user permissions. So you're just able to see the user permissions. You won't be able to see the user permissions, that's what it means. And view only, that's just view pages, items and documents. Any document has a server-side file handler, can be viewed in the browser but not downloaded. So you can't download anything, but you can view. File types that do not have a server-side file handler cannot be opened in the browser, such as video files, PDF files and .png can still be downloaded. So majority of the files cannot be downloaded other than these files that you can actually download. So this is all the default permission levels that are there, and gives a interesting overview of all the permission levels. Oops. Okay, so other than that, if I go ahead and permission levels and SharePoint groups. So this is where we were, grant permission, create group, and then all that. So permission levels work together with SharePoint groups. A SharePoint group is a set of users who all have the same permission level. The way this works is that you put related permissions together into a permission level, then you assign that permission level to a SharePoint group. So you just create a permission level and then you go for this, and site permissions and permission levels. So there are these site permissions apply generally across SharePoint site. The following table describes the permissions that apply to sites and show the permission levels that use them. So when you create a subsite, some of the permission levels are showing there, that what you can do right after creating a site or subsite. So this is just a huge table of what is already allowed when you create a site, and then what are the permissions and permission levels, delete items, and so that's a pretty extensive table of the permissions that are there and different ways that you can interpret them with different scenarios. Let's go back to what we were doing. So here we were in the process of creating a group. So create group here, and we give a name. We also try to put a user here, and other than that, nothing else. So we are creating a group, but then you can just make sure that which group has what level of permissions. So first of all, we have given a name to the group. Then we can go for design, but you can go actually multiple here as well, although that would be, the same group that has design should not have read and restricted review as well. Otherwise then Microsoft goes for whatever is most restrictive that gets implemented. What's the group name? This is the group's name. So your first name dash sales department. Okay, so if I go further down, so that's it. The only change, whoa, no, don't click all that. I'm just saying that if you are able to click it, that's going to be pretty confusing. Technically they should not let us even click that, because then we can also end up clicking totally conflicting permissions here, right? So we can't go for full control plus restricted view as well. In fact, guys, I'm just gonna test it. Don't go for this. If I select all that, right, I still am unable to go to settings page. Khalid, oh, Khalid says, did you refresh? Did you sign out? Try to take that. Okay, so it's loading still. Then you can take that screenshot, and yeah, that would be strange. Yeah, so take that screenshot and keep it and upload it there, but try to troubleshoot as well, and try to troubleshoot as well to get it working. So guys, if I just since I can technically select all, I am not gonna do that, but I'm testing it. You don't have to follow me, you don't have to do that. I'm gonna click create here, and does it just get created with this kind of crazy permissions? Oh, actually it gets created, and that is this group here, and that's very strange that they let me go ahead with conflicting permissions selected there, right? So I'm gonna go back here, and it does let me go back here as well. Hopefully you did not do that. I was telling you not to do that, and so I'm just gonna stick to design here. But that's very strange that you can select any of the conflicting configurations and create, and it just lets you. It's for decoration. Yeah. So design, and design is for decoration. Well, okay. So design can view and update, delete, approve, and customize. A lot of stuff you can do here. So once you select that, now I have already created. I click the create on this group. So don't follow me on this one. I'm just gonna type 1 here, because without 1 is already created, right? Then I came back here to change my permissions, but now it's not going to let me create the same name again. So I'm changing only for myself. You don't have to change that. So click the design, and that's it. Click create, right? Click the design, and that's it. click create. So create that. So this is the group that is created here. You know what happens that when you create a group or when you create a team, and we may remember that from previous classes, when you create a team, a SharePoint site gets created for that team, and a SharePoint group gets created for that team as well, right? So that is I just wanted to check that if a team got created for this SharePoint group, I'm sure that a site would not get created. I'm going to quickly check here. You don't have to do that, but if you want to. So I'm just going to quickly go to Teams. You don't have to do that. Just checking that did a team get created for that group. Oh, seriously. Okay, it's not going to open as long as I'm in the incognito, but I don't think that the group would have been created. It would have created a group when you or team would have been created for that group. Normally when you create a team, then a site and a group gets created, but when you create a single group, it's just supposed to be a group. Okay, so we created a group, we gave some permissions to that group, but you can see that it took us to the groups area where other groups, when you create a site, the site members group gets created, site visitors group gets created, site owners group gets created, right? And pretty much it took us to the people and groups section of this site, right? So what we can do is we can just go back. How? If the group has been already created, you can see down here there's the main navigation of the site is still showing home, documents, pages, site contents, right? Remember that we were inside the site contents, and then we went to the document library and settings of that document library, and then we went for the permissions area. So it's kind of all interconnected, obviously. So you just need to know that where's the navigation of the main site, where was I before, what did I just create here, where is this located, where I am right now. I want to show it. There are 2 or 3 ways to come here or go from different links. You still reach the same place. So it's all about just getting used to how the navigation really works. So we create a group, and it took us to the people and groups here. But if you go down here, home, documents, pages, so let's click the site contents on this page. Let's click the site contents on this page. And we're back to the main company site under the site contents, and then document library, and then there are 3 dots. That's where we started, right? So you just need to know the navigation. Now we could have gone for peoples and groups from site settings as well, but since we know this way right now, site contents, and then your first name, document library, and then 3 dots here, and then settings. So there are 2 or 3 ways to reach the same page. So once we were in the document library, then the settings, then we went for permissions for this document library, right? But actually we so now you can see that there's well, you should be seeing one group, but I created actually 2 groups. One group that first group that I created, I gave actually conflicting privileges, and it totally took it. Are you kidding me? So whoever's a member of this group has full control plus restricted view, which is the most restrictive. Wow. Welcome to SharePoint. Okay, anyway, so that is not good, obviously. But the other one is what you should be seeing there as design. And so once you give that permission to a group, now you can just add any user in the group, and that user will get design permission only. Suppose you do create a group for each privilege level, right? Company group read, or SharePoint site group read, SharePoint site group design, SharePoint site group full control, SharePoint site. So then you can add a user. Okay, this user is supposed to have read permission. Although if you can make some careful combinations of permissions as well, that edit and design, or edit and contribute. So the user would be in a group call which is just for design, and the same user can be added to a group that is just have contribute access level, or design and edit, right? So that's how you can make combinations there as well, and add and remove users from actually the groups. So what we were talking about here, that first of all, permission levels, how many are there? So full control, design, edit, contribute, read, restricted view. Then we talked about how many, or what do they do really, and we went to some details, and that link is also, or URL of the details of permission levels is there on your OneNote as well. Now other than that, if we, now I'm going to go for manage parent again, right? Manage parent again. Let's click the manage parent, and now we're on the main site permissions. So we went for grant permission. This is one user, one or multiple users, or you actually created a group which is a SharePoint group, and then gave that group whatever permission level you wanted to give, or whatever combination of permission levels you wanted to give, right? So then there is edit user permission and remove user permission, pretty straightforward as well, but that's the modify section here now of the permission. So obviously you can go to any of these and select it first. So suppose I first of all, these are the default ones, right? The members, the site members, the site owners, the site visitors. If I go for site visitors here, as soon as I select it, these two are enabled, and if none is selected, then these two are not enabled. Suppose I select two of them, or pretty much all of them, then also these two get selected. So I'm just going to select the visitors here, whoever is visiting the site. Right now, if you're not specifically given more privileges, then you get read permission. So any employee of the organization, Microsoft 365 subscription has by default read permission, unless you actually removed the read permission. So why should even those employees which have no concern with this site, maybe there's a full division, there are divisions, there are big departments there, so sales department would not want to have marketing department or other departments be even looking at this site. Sometimes it happens that you don't even want them to see the site, so you even remove the read permission for visitors just click the link and that's it, they don't see anything. I mean, like they are just the error comes to them that, hey, you can't even go to the main site. That's it, because you don't even have read permissions. So but who are visitors? Like is there membership? Obviously the visitors are all the employees there, right? So I've selected that visitors here, right? Hopefully you have selected the visitors as well. And then there's an edit user permission and there's a remove user permission. So if you click the edit user permission here, after selecting your first name, company site, visitors, select the edit user permissions, right? So once you click that, it says the group I created doesn't show up in the list of groups, and when I want to create it again, it says the name is already chosen. Yes, you just have to type 1 in front of it, just like I did, to create another group. But yeah, if it's not showing it, refresh the browser do play tricks on us. Either refresh the browser, sign out, sign in, that would help, or if you're logged in from multiple browsers, sign out from every one of those, then close the whole browser, then open just one page in the browser and sign in and then check. So normally it appears. So but the group, obviously the group is there, that's why it's saying you can't create the same group again, but it's not showing, so it's just, not, synchronization has not been done. in the background, or browser normally loves to play tricks on us. Hopefully you're using Chrome and not Edge. Edge has a specialty. The name is really good. Like it really takes us on the edge. We get so frustrated, we get on the edge. Okay. Oh, okay. So you're using Firefox. Cool. So here, this is just modify, and it just simply takes us to the same area. So in the visitors can only read, but restricted view, what is that? Can view pages, list items, and documents. Documents can be viewed in the browser but not downloaded. Here, read can view pages and list items and download documents. So the visitors can actually download your documents. That may or may not be a very good thing. It depends on your department level compliance or company compliance, that hey, if it's visitors and not your actual employees of or your department users, then they should not be visitors. Just visitors should not be able to download the document, right? So what we can do is we can uncheck this one and check this one, right? Uncheck read and go ahead and check restricted view, which means that yeah, go ahead and see the documents, but you can't download it. You have to be our employee, or actually the department employee. You should be part of our department to be able to download document. Otherwise, we're gonna let you just see the document but not download. Okay, so let's take a screenshot of permission level, modifying permission level, right? So that would be the name, modifying permission level. So that would be screenshot number 3. So screenshot number 3 is modifying permission level. Screenshot number 3, modifying permission level, right? So I'm gonna take a sample screenshot now. Screenshot number 3, modifying permission level. And screenshot 3. So screenshot 3, modifying permission level. Okay, and then I'll just copy the screenshot. Okay, so title of the screenshot here is screenshot 3, modifying permission level, and the screenshot is there in OneNote. I don't have access to WhatsApp on my PC. Okay, so I'll just go back here if you've taken the screenshot number 3. So that's just modifying, and I'm just gonna press O and K. So let's click OK. So visitors used to have read permission where they can download, but now they cannot download. And members would be the department members, whoever you want to add or remove, right? And other than that, we can create our own group and simply give, hopefully nobody did this. That was just to check that Sharepoint is allowing actually this whole confusion to be implemented, and that's what I was not expecting. And none of the others actually allow in any other software. So, okay, or at least there's an error or warning there, nothing here. Now, we have gone through the edit permissions. There's a remove user permission. And again, if we go for, suppose, members here, this time we're going to click the members, your company's site, your first name company site members. Once you select the your company site, your first name company site members, go ahead and select that, and it has edit. But if we go for remove user permission, we just are exploring that what exactly is the process it takes us through, and what are the features that we get to see, right? So if we are able to, so now it says you're about to remove all permissions for the following user or group to this site. So this is pretty much the members here, but still not the owner, right? So that is something that if you see this message here, then let's take a screenshot of this. I hope you didn't press OK already. So remove user permissions. So we clicked the members, and then we just simply clicked it, and it says hey, you're about to remove it, because whatever you put there it's just gonna clean sweep it. It's going to remove it all. So let's take a screenshot number 3, removing SharePoint user permissions. Let's take a screenshot number 4. Let's take screenshot number 4, removing SharePoint user permissions. Removing SharePoint user permissions. So I'll go for a screenshot 4 where this message should be popping up. Removing SharePoint user permissions. Oh, I should be doing that on this side as well. Later I'll do that. So I'll just go back to screenshot 4. Removing SharePoint user permissions. Okay, so the fourth title is removing SharePoint user permissions. Okay, so other than that, if we go ahead and I clicked on OK, then you can click again anywhere on any other group and just click the remove user. The pop-up has to be there. Oh, actually I did not click OK, so I'm gonna click remove user, and I'm just gonna press OK as well now. And now that whole members group is, so yeah, go ahead and press OK, and the whole members group is actually removed. So it's gone. The whole it's not like members group is removed for permissions only. It's just if there's no permission for a group, obviously it's just simply removed from this set as well. Now if we want to check, okay, so if we want to check, hey, where's that group? Well, is that group actually removed from SharePoint or just from this permission level, right? So okay, so there's you can see the error here, warning, or we can say some content of this site has different permissions from what you see here. Anyway, we're gonna check that out, but where did that group go? Now for that we can actually go back to home here, right? Let's click the home. We need to go to people and users, right? So where's that people and users where we actually created a group? So I'm going to click the home button. Let's click the home button here. And then again, site contents. Let's go to site contents. So first we click the home, then we click the site contents. And then there's on the right side there's site settings. Let's go for site settings. So there's the people and groups, right? People and groups. So how did I go there? First I clicked the home button, then I went for site contents, then I went for, well, it's a full website, right? So it would have so many places with so many settings there. When it's obviously SharePoint can scale for big corporations which have global presence and have hundreds of thousands of users there, and it can be good for 10 users as well, for a very small company as well. So obviously it will have then huge amount of features there. So I'm just going to click site settings, and there's the people and groups. So if you're there, let's click inside people and groups, and well, yes, there's the members. So it's removed from that permission level for that site, but in the people and groups, that group is still there. It's just been removed from the main site, right? So we can find all the groups created in the people and groups here, but if you don't want to give any permissions, obviously, then how can you just add that? So now just wanted to show you that the group itself is not gone totally from the SharePoint, but from that site at least it is gone. But let's just go back here and put it back. Can we put that back where it was before after removing permissions? So again, I'm going to go back to the home. You can go from SharePoint, you can go from home as well, right? I need to go to that page again, right? I'm going to click, in fact, sorry, okay, since I said home, maybe you've clicked home already. We can go directly to site contents. So if we keep going back and forth to different places, then we start getting used to it. Okay, so how many ways I can reach that place, from where else I can reach that same place. There's, if I go to site contents, there is this, right? But this always settings is showing on the top right as well, right? Anyway, site contents, and then document library, then settings. Actually, we could have directly gone for site settings, and permissions for this document library. Why am I going to the site permission level through document library, settings, and then permissions, right? So just to show that, okay, stop inheriting permissions and manage parent, this is still, we haven't tested yet, but this is also existing here other than the main permissions. So I'm going to click that manage parent again. So we can just quickly get that group back, but how do we do that? We're going to go for grant permissions again, because we're not creating a group, that group is already there, right? And then let's click the grant permissions again, and if we go for that name, so those three groups, the members, this is the one that got removed because the edit permission, the only one that it had, was removed. The other is members. So there is your first name company site members, and then there is your first name company sales team members. Actually, it's not this, it's this, your first name company site members. So this group, let's just click that again, and what permission we wanted to give, we're just going to give that permission with show options here, right? Once you have selected that members, let's click the show options as well, and so restricted view is what we changed for the visitors, and so we can just give the permission that it had, edit permission, right? I'm going to click that edit. So we're just putting that group back where it was with the same permission which it had. So if you have done this as well, then click share. Okay. And is it gonna load or do we have to refresh? Well, okay. Looks like we need to and fresh. I'm just gonna go ahead and on the browser level. I'm gonna refresh. Okay, so we got it back and the permission is there. What I will do, you don't have to do that. Obviously, maybe you did not create this. I asked you that not to do this. So I'm just gonna quickly select this one, which has all the crazy permissions here, and I'm gonna do this remove user permissions for this particular one. Right? So you don't have to do that. Obviously, you didn't create that, then you're not gonna do that anyway. I'm just ignore what I'm doing now, and I'm just gonna press OK and thing waiting, and yes, so it has removed it, all the permissions, and that group is just sitting in the people and users section. Okay, so we talked about the grant permissions for user, for group, and we created a group and we gave it custom permissions as well and added it here, and we then edited or modified the permissions. We removed the permissions as well. Now there's a check permissions written here as well. So once I hover the mouse here, yep. Oh, thought somebody had the mic unchecked. Okay, so there's that check permissions here. We can, if we hover the mouse over there, it just shows that pop up there. Display the permission levels and additional factors that affect a user or group's access. So I'm going to click that, check permissions now. And it says, okay, check the permission for who? Well, obviously we could have just selected one from down there. If I start typing the name, does it give me the list of who's? Yes, I start typing the name. So these are the groups that it's showing there, and the one that we created. Yes, those are also showing there. The ones we created. I drag it. Yeah. So we gave design permission to our created group, right? So it says to check permissions for user or group, enter the name or email address. So let's go for that. Your first name, sales department, and select it. And then we can just click. After you've selected the one that you've created, then go ahead and click check now. Well, that was not a very long essay on how the permission got there. So it just says that design permission was given and it was given directly to it. Okay, well, that is true, that design permission was given directly to it and it was not inherited from the top. So let's take a screenshot number 5. That well, a SharePoint check permissions feature or page. SharePoint check permissions page. It's actually not a page, it's a window. Anyway, so SharePoint check permissions page. Screenshot number 6. Oh, sorry, 5. Screenshot number 5. SharePoint check permissions page. I'm going to take a sample screenshot now. SharePoint check permissions page, and we SharePoint check permissions page. So yeah, when we check now, it just shows you this. I'm gonna click the close button. If you have taken the screenshot already, I'll go for clicking the close button. And if I select that company site owners, right? Go ahead and select the company site owners and then click check permission again. Now we're just checking the others as well. What does it say for the default groups that are already created there, right? So I'm going to select that owners and check permission, and oh, I selected it and it's still asking that please write it down. So I'm just going to select owners, right? And the drill, check now. So it says full control given directly. So that is the first level. Like when the site was created, it was given. So given directly doesn't mean that we gave it, or was it given when the SharePoint site was created. It just says to this one as well. I'm going to close that, and if I select 2 or 3 directly, well, three of them, in fact the custom made and the default ones, right? Well, pretty much all, and check permissions. Well, the thing is, obviously it's asking one only, so it can report one only. In fact, if I go for, so checking there doesn't really matter. First thing, I'm just going to select this, but if I go again, it still shows me the option to select another one, and at the end it just says no, I'm going to tell you for only one group, and that makes sense as well. So yes, we can't have 4 or 5 selected there. Okay, so we have talked about the permissions on the site level. Then there are permissions level, access request settings, and then site collection administrators. That's the manage section here. So grant section, modify section, check, and then manage sections. So if you go to the top level, and that is permissions level, so it says here in the pop-up that view and configure the available permission levels on the site. So what are available on this site, right? What permissions are available? Permission levels are sets of individual permissions a user or group can be assigned. Okay, we kind of read about it already. So I'm going to go click this permission levels as well. So these are the permission levels that are available. Okay, but so this is all there is by default. Full control, design, edit, contribute, read. But then there is add a permission level as well. So we can actually add a permission level as well. And what does that mean? So since you're here now, let's click this add a permission level. Let's click add a permission level. And once we click that add a permission level, so this is how to create a custom permission for your SharePoint site. How to create a custom permission for your SharePoint site, right? So let's get going and create our own. So we can just say your first name, custom permission level. Your first name, custom permission level. So it's just custom permission. And okay, so I'm just gonna Control A, Control C, and Control V. Your first name, custom permission level. Once you've put that, now it's a long list of permissions. So, but there are categories there: list permissions and site permissions, and then personal permissions. So here, yeah, name and description, and there's choose which permissions to include in this permission level. Use the select all checkbox to select or clear all permissions. Um, so select all, obviously we're not here for select all. Manage lists, create and delete lists, add or remove columns in a list, and add or remove public views of a list, and that's it. So you can just give one permission and that's it. Override list behaviors. So remember that we did create a list. We saw the list templates there as well. And I mentioned before as well that asset management or list for inventory, which is again asset management, and itinerary, and whatever the list was, list types you wanted to create there. So manage lists, override list behaviors, add items, edit items. So add items to lists and add documents to document libraries. So only this permission you want to give to a user and nothing else. So or edit items, but suppose you don't want the user to delete anything. Edit, and edit does not include delete. Edit items in lists, edit documents in document libraries, and customize web part pages in document libraries. Web part, remember what was web part? It was those small utilities there. We can say a calendar or YouTube, a small app you can add to a page. So those were called web part. So we can just go for like edit items, but when you click edit items it goes for view items. Obviously you should have view permission to view, and then after that you want edit permission for this custom as well. So approve items, approve a minor version of a list, item, or document. Open items, yes, you can open. Server-side handlers, view the source of documents with server-side handlers. Server-side handlers is just that you have a viewer for that document, so you can open that document in the browser. View versions, view past versions of a list, item, or document. Delete version. So what we will be trying to avoid is that we're not going to give this permission, custom permission level, the delete permission, right? So create alerts, and approve items does not have anything to delete permission. Open items, view the source, view versions. As long as we're not delete items, we're not delete versions, we're not doing that. And view application pages. So anything delete, we're not going to click. Just for an example, that how you just go ahead and start checking what you want to give permission to others and what you don't want to give, right? So manage permissions, create and change permission levels on the website, and assign permissions to users and groups. So that's too much. So the above section is just for the work to be done on a site, but do you want to give the users of this custom permission level to mess with the site level changes? So it's up to you then. View web analytics data, view reports on website visit. Okay, that's harmless. And create subsites. Okay, not that much permissions. Manage website, grants ability to perform all administration tasks for the website as well as manage content. Add and customize pages. Apply themes and borders. Themes and borders seems harmless. Apply style sheets. Create groups. Browse directories. Enumerate. Enumerate just means search. So enumerate files and folders in a website using Sharepoint Designer and WebDAV interfaces. So that's again harmless, right? Use self-service site creation, view pages. Enumerate is again browse user information. Yeah, still you're not modifying anything, you're not creating on the site level, you're not deleting anything on the site level, right? Manage alerts, you could create alerts for yourself. Remote interfaces, so WebDAV and Client Object Model or Sharepoint Designer interfaces to access the website. No. use client integration features without this permission, users will have to work on documents locally and upload their changes. Okay, that also gives remote access. Anyway, it's just access, edit personal user information. So we're just going for certain configurations, but obviously you have to do your due diligence there when you're assigning permission levels and attaching it to, mapping it to users and groups, and making sure that you are not giving permissions more than which are required by the users, or for the users to have it. And to manage personal views, add, remove personal web parts, update personal web parts. So, well, nothing personal. Okay, so anyway, these are some of the things that we have chosen way up there. And just to go through this, we now understand that, okay, permission levels, we can create our custom one as well. We give a name. We went for anything that does not involve delete, and those which are just search and view permissions on the site permission level. On the site level, we give harmless ones where there's no editing involved, while on the list level we let the user, or this permission level, to edit items. Okay, so once that is all done, then we can okay, hold on for this one. So this is custom permission level page. So Sharepoint custom permission level page. Let's take screenshot number 6. Sharepoint custom permission level page. Sharepoint custom permission level page. Let's take screenshot number 6. Sharepoint custom permission level page. You can just put that, your name should be showing there, and even half of the page showing, that's good. Sharepoint custom permission level page, and go down. Screenshot 6, Sharepoint custom permission level page. Okay, so we can go back, and now we have selected some permissions here, and so it's pretty customized now, and we can just go ahead and click create and 8. So we have to make sure as well that it got created after what we did. So I'm going to click create here. Okay, so it's created already, the permission level, and we can quickly attach it to the visitors, right? So visitors have just restricted view permission. The visitors default SharePoint group has just restricted view permissions. Suppose the boss says, hey, these are pretty harmless, and the visitors can actually create lists as well, which normally is not the case. Just showing there that, hey, you go for your custom permission level, then just attach it to a group as well. So let's go back to the group groups, right? So for that we can go to site contents from here, right? and from the site contents, now there is this don't go there. I'm just clicking site settings and site permissions. So that's the other way to go for it. Which other way? I was just too quick, so let me just show you that site contents, when you reach the site contents, instead of going through the permission levels of the your first name document library, how about you go directly to the site permissions. So once you go to site contents, you can also go to site settings and then site permissions to the same page to which we were going through document library settings and permissions. So we're just skipping 2 steps here. We're going site settings now from after site contents. So go ahead, go to site contents, site settings, and then site permissions. So we're gonna land on the same page now. And well, here what we can do is we can give visitors restricted view. They have already, so we can give the permission level which we just created, but can we give that permission level? So I'm gonna select that your first name company site visitors, and then I'm gonna go for, actually this is edit user permission, right? It's not grant permission, it's edit user permissions. Is it? So if I select that visitors, and first we go to edit user permission, then we're going to go for grant as well, right? So let's click the edit user permission after selecting site visitors, edit user permissions, and yes, we see our custom permission level as well. So what we can do is we can just uncheck restricted view, and we're actually letting users not mess with any of the site settings other than enumerating or searching for anything or browsing for anything, but they can actually create some list items and edit them as well. So this is just like you can give a custom permission this way, otherwise visitors are not supposed to get to create lists there, right? So we just see our custom permission level, and we're just gonna press OK. So site visitors now get our custom permission level, while other permission levels are still there. Now so this was the edit user permission, and that made perfect sense that obviously you would edit user permission to change that to our custom permission level. But if I had gone to grant permission, so and there, if I just type here, you don't have to do that, groups here, if I go for suppose owners and then go for show options, and our custom permission level shows in the grant permissions section as well as our edit user permissions. So well, pretty much wherever all the permissions will show, our custom permission level will also show, right? So I'm going to cancel out from here. I just want to show you that first we went where we were supposed to go, and then you can also have that, you could have seen that from here as well, grant permissions. So that's permission level, and pretty important when you know that you can actually go for creating a combination of your own permissions and create a permission level out of that. So that makes it a very important feature then on the full site level. Okay, so then there is access request settings here, and if we click that access request settings, let's click that. So not a lot of options here, but choose who can request access to or invite others to this site. So who can request access for him or herself or invite others to this site. Allow members to share the site and individual files and folders. Allow members to invite others to the site members group. Your first name company site members. So the members can actually share the files, and they can invite others to this site as well, whoever are the members, not visitors. So members and owners can do that, but visitors cannot. Allow access requests. Select who will receive all access requests on this site. Your first name company site owners only. Obviously it should not be members, it should be site owners only who should be receiving all access. Hey, can I access this site? And only members of the your first name company site owners group can accept or decline access requests. Obviously owners should be accepting or declining. Include a custom message to users who see access request page. Well, you can just put here, if you need access to this site, then please contact the company site owner. And obviously you would just give your first name. So let's just put an imaginary name, because that's a your first name at company.com. So you can just go ahead and put your name at company.com. So we're pretending that we are giving actual company email address here, right? So if you need access to this site, then please contact the company site owner, your first name at company.com, right? And now we can just go for screenshot number 7, access request. So SharePoint access request settings. Actually, it's a SharePoint site access request setting. The name would be SharePoint site access request settings. Screenshot number 7, SharePoint site access request settings. SharePoint site access request settings. I'll take a screenshot now. Screenshot number 7. SharePoint site access request settings. Screenshot 7. SharePoint site access request settings, and take a screenshot of that. So that's screenshot 7, SharePoint site access request setting. Okay, so there is a break request, but then there is that, hey, we're almost done as well. Yes, sir. So Brady says, sir, and I got red message instead of checkbox on line 2. That's strange. Okay, still, if you're able to write this here, it's okay. Ready. If your screenshot shows a message, it's still, members cannot share this site because the site is missing our default members group. Oh, I think the previous step you did not take, or if it was not done correctly. Still, if you see this page, just take a screenshot of this, so it's okay. Okay, Miss Minciuk also does that. Can you work through break and end 9:30? So guys, do we need a break now, or we should be done by 8:10 really. So can I go to washroom for 5 minutes? Okay, sure. Yes, I mean, like, break is a universal right. So let's take a break, guys. It's 2 guys now. So obviously there's nature break as well. Okay, 10-minute break. Let's take a 10-minute break. Break is important. Yeah, there you go. So okay. 10-minute break. Okay, 10-minute break, guys. $15? Okay. Okay, 15-minute break then, right? Well, it's 3 screenshots left. It's not a lot today. So okay, break. You're serious about 15 minutes? Then or what's that, a joke? So up to you, right? Break. And yeah, okay, so 10-minute break. Yeah, we can finish early. Class starts 8:10. Now. Alright, guys, so we'll continue what we were doing. So yeah, so we were here on access requests settings, and not much there in terms of what we can do. Do you want others to invite others, or do you want others to share the site with others, right? So that's it. So I'm just going to press OK to what we took a screenshot of this page, right? So I'm just going to press OK to this window. And well, those were the permission access request settings. So we changed that those access request settings slightly. We just added a message there. Other than that, we didn't do anything else. And then there are site collection administrators. Add or remove site collection administrators. So it's pretty straightforward that who are going to administer the site collection or the top site. So I'm gonna click site collection administrators, and pretty straightforward. You just want to add or remove whoever administers the whole top level site, right? So nothing here. Obviously it's just pretty straightforward. You add or remove the user who will be administering the site. So I'm just going to cancel out from here. So we can go back to the home option, right? Let's go for our home again. Home, right? And we're on the main site of the first page of the site now. And again, let's go to site contents. Let's go to site contents. So there are I missed it. Did we press OK? Yes, we pressed OK. Andrew, we pressed OK. Okay, so let's go ahead and so here we're back to the site contents again. We click the home button and then we came back to site contents. Once you click the site contents here, so there is document library, there is then documents, which is also a document library. Then there are some form templates showing here, which is also a document library. But if we go ahead and click the form templates, right? So it takes us to this page, and it still shows form templates, and then there is new here, and you can actually create a a Word document and create a form inside, and it's just a collection of all documents or one note page inside it. But if you've created some kind of form to fill in, then you could just save it in this form templates. Otherwise, it's pretty much like any other document library. And there is that add template at the bottom of it, right? But it's gonna ask for, hey, do you have a template? Maybe you've created some form template there to fill out some forms there, right? So if I click that, I click the new, and then I click add template, and then yes, it asks that, hey, where's the template? Oops. Okay, so I'm just gonna cancel it, right? So where's the template, and then cancel. So what about the forms anyway? You do have to fill a form, right? So well, that is actually an upcoming topic, and we're going to discuss that because forms is a separate application now. As a separate app, it's available, and you're going to see that in future topics there. So let's go back to site content. So what I was just showing you here, it was form templates, but there's you have to just manually create your own form. It's pretty much a document library, which is called that way. So I'm going to click site contents again, site contents, right? And once we go to the site contents here, there is on the right side, there's a site settings, right? So site contents, site settings. Let's click the site settings now. So once we click the site settings, so well, these are some of the features there that we were using. Normally when you go to different portions, different sections of the site, so in the background you're touching one of those here, URLs here. But we were today going for permissions and people and groups. We created the groups as well from there, and we attached it to permission levels there as well. Then we also touched the site permissions and site collection administrators. We just clicked that, and you can just add administrators. Then there is in terms of just the permissions, that is site app permissions. That's one thing that we did not touch. So obviously when we went for apps here, adding an app, now where was that feature of adding an app, right? So before we go to site app permissions, where were we going to add app? So if we go to site contents, let's just check it out. Where was that option? Let's click on the left side, site contents. So once you click that site contents here, and there's a new button, right? So once you click the new button, so there's the app. So we went for app marketplace as well in our last class, and we tried to add an app as well. So you don't have to actually go ahead. I'm just going to quickly click the app here, and these are all the apps, and there's a SharePoint store. Then we went there, and from there we actually added an app as well, right? So these are all the app area. You don't have to really go there. I'm just going to click back, and then further back, and back. So we were here, right? So once you click site contents, you can also go back until you reach here on this page, or just go to site contents and site settings. So, well, those in site contents in new, you could just add any app there from the app store. But let's go back to the users and permissions section and then site app permissions. So let's click that site app permissions now. I'm going to click that site app permissions, and this is just app identifier line here, and then there is Sharepoint dot echo sign showing here, right? So when we see it, there's not much showing there. So whatever app you add there, that app's information gets added here as well. But otherwise, there's just that app identifier that is showing their app display name. Now there are some smaller apps there as well, but SharePointOnline.echosign.com, that's the only one. Maybe last time we added EchoSign or something. No, I don't think so. So, but whatever apps, suppose you keep on adding more apps, then app information will start coming here. But what about the permissions? Because we don't see anything related to permissions. And normally, what used to happen was that we could just hover our mouse over here, and it would just show a down arrow, very small down arrow, and then we could just play with a lot of settings there as well. But it's not showing here right now because, well, maybe there's not a proper bigger app with a license there. And so that's just the code for the app identifier or app here, the echo sign. But other than that, there's nothing, right? So if there are further apps areas, we're gonna check it out. It looks like they have changed that setting of us being able to edit anything in this page. So we're gonna go back here to I'm gonna click that browser, or actually here, site settings. There's site settings here as well, right? So let's click that site settings. Once we click the site settings, so we're back here. So other than that, there's look and feel, there's site actions, there's web designer, galleries here, site columns, and site content types. Well, there are some of the more important ones that we can go ahead and check out. But web design galleries, okay. So this is site columns. If we go inside the web designer galleries, so let's click that site columns under the web designer galleries. Once you click the site columns here, so some of those have a lot of things to change. Append only comments, categories, end date, language, start date, URL, workflow name. So site column, normally when you go to document site, suppose, so you see columns there, a workflow name or any URL you want to put there, or start date column. So these are all those columns that are there. So end date, start date, workflow name, URL. So suppose if you go down to URL here, right? So URL, once you click that, so then you can make a change here that in that particular column, how do you want it to appear? Do you want to give a description of that column as well? And obviously it's about a hyperlink that you want to put there. Existing group, put this site column into a group. Specify a site column group. Categorizing columns into groups will make it easier for users to find them. Anyway, this is the base columns, or the columns that as soon as you open a page, these typical columns appear in majority of the pages that you open. So that's why they are called, this URL column appears in the base column group. There are other groups as well: core contact and calendar column group, core document columns group, or core task and issue columns group. So these are some of the groups, or in the groups, they are types of columns are put together, so we could also identify them that okay, the base ones, okay, pretty much every page will have those columns, but then there are other ones as well that could appear in different types of pages in the site, uh, uh, which have different purpose there. So column formatting, change the display of this column by adding JSON below, remove the text from the box to clear the custom formatting. So yeah, you can just put some JSON script here that would tell that what do you want to put in the column, what should the column be showing there, so you can go advanced on that. Update lists, specify whether all lists using this site columns should be updated with the settings on this page. So yes, columns do get updated when some whatever you put there is updated. Suppose there should be URLs here, maybe that URL changed, you gave a URL of some site and it changed there, so that URL would be synced or updated here as well, right? So update all list columns based on this site column. So suppose there were other columns that were depending on the information on this column, so other dependent columns will also change if anything changes on this column. So it's just showing these kind of settings for every column, right? It goes so much in depth here. What we can say here is screenshot number 8 as column side column settings.
Excuse me, please. How did you go to edit column?
Yep. So it's, if I go back and further back, so first we are on the site settings, hopefully you're there, site settings, and then we went here, site columns, so site settings, and how site contents you go if you're not on site settings, site contents, then site settings, and then site columns. So if you click the site columns, and then we went for URL. So if you have clicked URL, we were inside here. So it's site column. So screenshot number 8 would be site column settings. Screenshot number 8 would be site column settings. Screenshot number 8, site column settings. I'll just take a screenshot, sample screenshot here. Site column settings. Control V. Okay, so we can continue. Well, this is, you could just play with the columns. You can actually delete the column and it will be deleted from every page where it was appearing if you delete it from here. So we're not making any changes here. In fact, you can just suppose we go for column name is URL. So do we see that column anywhere when we go? So it's the base columns, right? So if I try to click first of all on the left side documents page, does it appear as a column there? I'm going to click that documents page, then I'm going to click pages, then I'm going to click site contents. If I click the documents page, so it does not appear here, and all documents. Oh, and there is an add column here. So on the documents area there is hyperlink. So we can add a column here. So you're on the documents page, right? And then the last one is add column. So that's pretty straightforward. If you click that, so the columns have not been added already here, but we can keep on clicking to add any column, extra column here as well. The 3 columns already here are name, modified by, that's all, right? But you can keep on adding all those if you want. So if you go for hyperlink, hopefully you're seeing hyperlink there as well. So what I did was I just went to documents page, then I'm just here, add column, right? So in add column, if you are all following, so let's click the hyperlink. And this is actually adding here URL name. So URL, it's a column name, right? Or type is hyperlink, but you can say URL and no description, that's it. I just put URL here, right? And save. So it shows here, right? So you could have just given any other name as well. Now if when you were uploading a document, if there was a URL also mentioned in the document details, then it would have shown here in this column as well. If any a document had in its attributes and the URL mentioned, then that would have appeared here. Or if you go to add columns, so there is location, so where it was created, and choice, currency if it was mentioned, image if there was an image with the document. So all kind of columns related stuff is there. But what we were seeing back there is not what I saw here, although it's a separate independent feature that is here for this page. So we went just because we were talking about columns, so that's why we created it. But back there it was URL written there, right? So that's what we did not see here. We created our own document. We just manually named it this. If I go to pages, so yes, it also has the custom add columns, but so there are so many type of templates here, guys. And in fact, for templates, also I needed to show you in subsites. With the help of subsites, I needed to show you that how many types of templates we have here. So in those templates, there are so many pages, and in some of those pages, the URL would appear. But if we start looking like the, I'm going to go back to site contents now, right? Site contents. And there is no column, add column feature here, but we can just from site contents, if you're there again, so let's go back to site settings. But wherever those columns appear, you can actually make a change from the whole this site content. So web designer galleries, you want to make changes to the columns and how do they appear, and you want to put some extra coding there, then obviously that's all what you can do with the columns. But normally you have to find then where exactly they will appear, or which templates they are already made to appear. So we're going to be exploring some templates, and you're going to see that too. Site content types, if you go to that inside under the site columns is site content types. I'm going to click that site content types here. And what kind of what type of content can be on a site? JavaScript, display template, basic page, document page, Dublin core columns, forms can be there. So what kind of content? Obviously all the common content, web parts could be there, site pages can be added to a page. So this is pretty much a list for SharePoint administrators, where you want to add something else, you want to remove something that I don't want any of the, especially that site page or web part should not appear in site content. Wherever web part appears, I want to remove it from there. So and normally they show here web part will appear on the basic page when you create a page, and we did create a page, we did click the plus sign, and then web parts starting appearing there, and we selected some of the web parts there, if you remember. So it will appear on the base page. If you're seeing that site content here, then let's click on the web part page. Let's click on the web part page. And once in the web part page, name and parent page, where it, yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, I missed setup.
So are you here? Site settings, and then site content types, and then web part page. Okay, so let's click web part page. So here it's appearing on it's supposed to appear on the basic page, right? Name, description, and group. Then there are advanced settings, workflow settings, document information panel settings, delete this site content type. If we go further down here, so title, name, file required, sources document, add from existing site columns. So these are all the features that are available with the web part that you add there. So just for example, what was a web part, just to remind you, you don't have to go there, I'm just showing you. If I go to pages on the left side and then create a new site page, and if I click the plus sign here, so these are all the web parts, right? And we were adding a countdown timer, suppose, so it will just add a countdown timer here. So this is all the long list of web parts that were there here. So this is what we're talking about. I'm just gonna leave from here and back. Yeah. So document content types and settings, name, description, and group. So we can just change those the way it just appears there. And there's advanced settings. So we're on the web part, site content type, then we selected the content type of web part. Now there's a advanced settings here, right? So let's click the advanced settings. Let's click advanced settings. So it basically goes deep down, and the URLs are showing there, the actual document template that is used in every page to show the web part. Should this content type be read-only or update sites and lists? So pretty much as the word says, advanced settings. So obviously if you're a web developer or you really understand the background working of that, or you want to go for some document template that you have configured that has a lot of other features for web part, then you can upload that too after you've done some programming and you want to add something more advanced. So other than that, nothing much here. So I'm going to cancel out from here. Let's cancel out from here. So the main idea of coming here is just that if you want to really make some changes for the web part feature, then you can just do that here. There is that button of delete this site content type, and if that site content type is deleted, obviously the web part will not appear here. Now that's a kind of an important setting here, and I'm so tempted to actually delete it now and then check it out that will it be removed from there. And then suppose I do delete it, how do I really get it back then, right? So obviously it would be a bit longer process, because this is one of the main features of the pages. Without this feature, pages are like really have nothing to show there. Other than the text, you could just add text there, right? So anyway, in my free time, I would just want to go ahead and delete that. But overall, you can just go through all those advanced features if you really want to go in depth with managing just the web parts. You want to just show only countdown timer, suppose that I selected there. You can just only show that too and remove everything else. So I'm going to go back to site content types again, this one here, right? Let's click this, and once you click that, so you're back here. Basic page. So yeah, you can just hopefully you get the idea that whatever feature appear on your pages and items and documents can be reconfigured, can be slightly changed here on this site settings page called site content type. So let's click that site content, so site settings again. I really need to fix that. Okay, so what was 32? Ouch. Okay, well, now let's go to site settings, guys. Once you click the site settings, then we were talking about the web designer galleries, and then if you go for site administration, so there's regional settings, language settings, export, translation. So if you go to regional settings here in site administration, regional settings, right? And Eastern time, US and Canada, it's just by default here, it detects that. And sort order, and that's just general, and these are just languages, and calendar is Gregorian, right? Or it could be any other calendar as well, right? And alternate calendar can be also here, which could be any other calendar, right? So that's for the whole site, what kind of calendar you want to be available, and what language you want for the whole site to be available. And define your work week, so it starts from Monday and ends on Friday, and first day of week, Sunday, starts on Jan 1. So you can just try to go for all the time format would be 12-hour, or you can go for 24 hours. So that's the whole site-wide setting that you can go for. So this is pretty straightforward. Whatever time zone, whatever region, whatever language, whatever calendar you want, so you can just go ahead and change, and this would be pretty easy stuff. So I'm just going to cancel out from here. Nothing complicated here. So let's cancel out from here. And language settings, if we go to language settings, so pretty self-explanatory. Enable pages and news to be translated into multiple languages. So language setting actually shows you translation facility as well, which is good. Suppose we could click on here, so translators, and you can see here add or remove site languages. English is a site language, and translators. So it says here translators are assigned to translate the page from one language into another, and then you can select a language as well, right? So this is just all the languages that go down this here. So if we let's go to the last one, and let's go for Welsh, right? Or you can just choose any one of your favorite and just go for it. So you can just go for, so Welsh, if it is used, then select or type a translator, right? So there are translator, and when you click the type a translator, so who is going to translate? There's a username coming here, right? Enter more characters there, but that's pretty much the users that are there. That okay, if you hit this page and there's a Welsh language there, so we have an employee who can actually, or you can just actually hire or contractor who's a professional translator of this language, and you can invite his or her name here, and as a contractor, and then add his or her name here, that okay, you want translator, just click this person, email this person, okay, can you just tell me what does that mean in this section on this site. So the translator would be made available. Suppose I go for your first name 3, right, as a translator. Default language you don't need a translator for, but any other language you can go for a human, it's a human translator, right? So it's a user actually, but that's one thing. And then there's show advanced settings here as well. If I click the show advanced settings here, so override translators, user specified text such as title and description of the site can be translated into the alternate languages supported by the site. Specify whether changes made to user specified text in the default language should automatically override the existing translation. So if we turn it on, so it just says that if title and description are in another language and you want it translated, so it can actually automatically do that too. So I'm going to just turn it off, but we can see that it's the site languages, how do they really work, right? And you can just actually add a translator. This is again not very complicated, so I'm just going to cancel out from here. Let's click the cancel here and leave, because we made a change. So I'm just going to click the leave button. And export translations, import translations, user alerts, RSS. Well, export and import. Let's click the export translation, and it just shows that user specified text such as title and description of the site will exist in the default language of the site and optionally be translated into the alternate. So title and description, whatever is translated can be exported as well. Only export text that is not translated, or translate the or export the text. So this is just an export in which language you want this exported, and so I'm just gonna click the cancel button here. Pretty few options there only. And then import translation, if we go back, go inside this just to see that what is going on here. Translation file, so if you want to import a translation file, and should it be in German, French, Irish, Indonesian, right? So you can just import a translation file and attach it to some site that, okay, this is the translation of all the title and text of this site. So I'm going to cancel out from here as well. Cancel, import, export. And then there is user alerts. So if you click the user alerts here in the site administration under the import translation, right? So there is display alerts for, and what kind of alerts are there? Display alerts actually for, this is to whom you want to display the alerts. So if I went fast here, so I'm just going to click site settings back, and where did I go? I went to site administration and user alerts, right? Okay, and go ahead and select your name here, and this is the update. So let's click the update, right? So this is frequency is immediate, so whatever alerts in any other place are created will be sent to this guy, so to the administrator, which was not configured till now, but now it is configured. And you can select it, but then selection is just there to delete something. But that's all pretty much, that whose email you want here to be added for alerts sending, right? So I'm going to click that site settings. And this is alerts, and then there is RSS here under the alerts. And normally RSS is just that you want to get some news from other sites that automatically comes here. Allow RSS feeds in this site collection, allow RSS feeds in this site. And so copyright content you have to add, managing editor who's going to specify the site-wide channel elements for the RSS feeds, and the webmaster who's the webmaster there. So RSS, you just need to cover the legal formalities there, that who's actually going to manage the RSS. And it's not exactly the RSS settings itself, that which site you want the news from, but who is actually handling it, and where is the copyright information here. So it's just legal binding mostly that you can fill it up here. I'm going to click cancel from here as well. And workflow settings. Now this is something that we saw in our other pages as well, like documents page. So if we click the workflow settings, but this is the site level settings for the workflow, and it just says that SharePoint 2013 workflows, there are no SharePoint 2013 workflows associated with this site. 2010, that's just all backward compatibility. SharePoint 2010 workflows have been deprecated. So this pretty much is not applicable. And I'm going to click site settings again. And terms for management. Now this is an upcoming topic. We're going to be discussing that. But other than that, if we go and search and site collection administration, some more is there. But let's go to the site actions there as well on the right side now. Site actions, this one. And here, manage site features. Manage site features under site actions. So once you click manage site features, now many of these are not activated, like enables announcement tiles. So there are enables announcement tiles feature and adds the web part to the site. So announcement tiles, right? So we can just click the activate for the first one, which is just it's going to add a feature or a web part where you can just put announcements. So I'm just going to click activate. But then this feature is not supported in the current site collections version. So okay, so I guess everyone's getting this error, or if somebody was successful in adding this there, same error. Okay, so I'm just going to click go back to site. Now why did it come? Because the type of site that we selected, or the template that we selected. So for some templates, maybe for the team sites it works, maybe for the team sites other template it works, or communication site had one more template and it could have worked here. But this is how it is, that for some sites some features will work, or some type of templates some features will not work. So I'm going to click site contents again. Because I clicked the back button, it took me to the main page. So I'm going to go for site contents and then site settings, right? Once I click the site settings, we were in the manage site features. So I'm going to click manage site features again under the site actions. And community site feature, this feature adds community functionality such as discussion categories, content, and people reputation, and the members list. It also provides community site pages which contain these lists and features. So we do have community-based settings there, or discussion categories there. Well, this is a communication site first of all. But there are templates for the site that are, there's a template called community template. There is actually a template. If you deploy that template on a sub-site, suppose, then you might get this feature. But let's just click the activate button here for this, and it actually comes to this page, the site scope feature being activated has a dependency on hidden site collection scope feature, blah 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 blah. Hidden features cannot be auto-activated across scopes. There may be one or more visible site collection scope features that auto-activate the dependent hidden feature. So in English, what it's saying is that there are some dependencies there that needs to be activated for it, and some dependencies do not automatically get activated when you click this activate switch, right? So that's what it is saying here. I'm going to click go back to site and then site contents, right? And then site settings. So the thing is that well, again, after site settings we were under the site actions and manage site features. Which one did we activate? Second one, user. Second one. But we need to check that. Now we're going back to check if it says activate or it is saying activated. So let's go back to manage site features. So it says activate, which means that some of the dependencies for this did not get activated. Normally, again, that's a lot of knowledge about which templates to first deploy in the communication side for some of these features to be activated. Content organization. First of all, let's take a screenshot number 9 here for site features page. So yeah, it's Sharepoint site features. Let's take a screenshot 9, which is Sharepoint site features. Screenshot 9, Sharepoint site features. Screenshot 9, Sharepoint site features. SharePoint site features. And okay, I need to put that name back there as well. Okay, so I'll go back here. Now you can see that if any of the feature is activated, it actually looks like this, that there's a deactivate button here, and it shows here the green button of active, which means that others obviously are not activated, and they will activate if they are they see that the site for which they are being activated is this are these features made for that site, like if it's a community site, community feature. So did you actually deploy community template to activate this feature, or do you have already certain features enabled in this site for this major feature to be activated? So when you're going for any of these features, obviously you would go for you would go for documentation, that what exactly does it do and what kind of dependencies it has. Content organizer, create metadata based rules that move content submitted to the site to the correct library or folder. Now it seems like pretty simple feature, content organizer, that automatically whenever somebody uploads a file, automatically just put it to a correct library, right? But what are the dependencies, and does this site have those dependencies started, is yet to be seen. So if I click that activate now for the third one, which is content organizer. So if we click that activate here, then the site scoped feature being activated has a dependency on a hidden site collection. Scoped feature definition is this, which is a long ID. Hidden features cannot be auto-activated across scopes. There may be one or more visible site collection scoped features that auto-activate the dependent hidden feature. So it just says that again that there's a dependency there. Or I click back here and it took me to the main site. Hopefully you know your way back to where we were. But what it was saying that it depends on a feature that actually depends on another feature that is not covered in your scope. Scope just means where you have privileges to do anything. So I'm going to click site settings again, and then site contents again, and then site settings, and then site features. Wow, site contents, which is this, then site settings, then site features. Serious. Good luck being a SharePoint administrator. And that's not the only job. It's for a huge company. Yes, it could be one specialist SharePoint administrator would be needed, but otherwise, SharePoint administrator is part of Microsoft 365, and there are so many other admin centers. If I just go down here, all admin centers, you don't have to go here. I'm just showing. So these are all the major applications, and SharePoint is just one of those, right? So my current contract, these are all the applications, and pretty much a lot of work going on in those in the company with developers on Dynamics 365 here, and then lots of going on SharePoint and OneDrive and Power Apps and Power Automate, Exchange, compliance, security, Stream, Teams especially. Ugh. Okay, anyway, so yeah. Content organizer, again, obviously it has to be then checked deep inside the documentation, that what other feature has to be activated for this to really get activated as well. Do it enterprise, that is SAP workflow, enables the site to host SAP workflow task types. So SAP is SAP SE is a German multinational software corporation based in Waldorf, Baden-Württemberg, that develops enterprise software to manage business operations and customer relations. So it's a enterprise software to manage business operations and customer relations, right? It's called ERP software, right? Normally, this type of software is called ERP. So, well, this is just saying that if you have a SAP application purchased, you have license of that application, you've connected it to the SharePoint, then you can just go ahead and attach it here. Then you can activate this feature. So Do It Enterprise site branding, and that is, this feature enables Do It Enterprise logo to appear as the site logo. So when it says Do It Enterprise, this means that your enterprise or your SharePoint plus some other software, third-party software big application that you're connecting here. So do you want that facility to be made available here, that you can connect any other third-party software to your companies? External system events, this feature enables alerts and event receivers on the external list and external content types. So whatever content is being imported from external sources, like RSS is one of the sources, news sites, maybe technical news sites, or whatever company you have, their related news sites. So for that, again, I'm going to click the activate here for external system events, and it might give you the same that this got activated and it is active now. So some of them will work and others will look for dependencies behind for them to work. But yeah, you get the idea that this site features will be, any major feature that you want added here, then if that feature's dependencies are also activated, then these features will be available. So if you keep going down there, that's a long list. There's another one that is active down below here: SharePoint recommendations, display SharePoint recommendations on site pages. And another one, site pages, allow users to add new site pages to a site, is also activated. Spaces, then workflow, task, content type. So few will get activated without any issues. Others will get activated only when you really you really had activated its dependencies. There's site mailbox written here. The site mailbox app helped keep email and documents close together by connecting your site with an Exchange mailbox. New site mailboxes can no longer be created in SharePoint Online. Consider using Office 365 groups to connect a team site with an email conversation. Okay, so some of the deprecated features are still showing there, but they're actually not going to work. Anyway, so we get the idea that this is overall what site features is. It's a kind of a major feature, and if its dependencies are there, or if the site has the proper template with which it is compatible, then it's gonna get activated. If I let's go for site settings back, and let's click that site settings. Enable search configuration export and delete this site. Wow, delete the site, seriously. So enable search configuration export. So if we click that, enable search configuration export, so the export of the search configuration was successfully enabled. So this just means that whatever search related configurations you have done, their export can be done now. So you can export whatever search related parameters you have put there, search related configurations you have done, they can be exported now. So it's just enabled it. So I'm going to click back here, just go for the back button, browser back button. And then there is a delete this site. Yay! Oh, okay. So if I click that, delete this site, I hope it gives a warning and not just simply deletes it right at the click of this URL. So let's click that, delete this site URL. And yes, you're about to delete the following website, and delete the website will send all content and user information to the site collection recycle bin. There is a recycle bin, including documents and document libraries, lists and list data, including surveys, discussions, announcements, calendar, website settings and configurations, permission levels, and security information relating to the website, groups created with this website, sites of this website collection, their contents and user information. To continue, click delete. This action will permanently delete all content and user information, but the hard disk space will not be immediately available. When you delete a large site, SharePoint removes data gradually for performance reasons. To perform an immediate deletion, you need to run a set of commands using, for example, PowerShell or the object model. Find more information here. So it's going to slowly delete all the data if the site is deleted, and much of your data will be permanently deleted. And also, suppose it was taking over 1 terabyte space, right? So 1 terabyte space will not immediately be available. After some time it will be available. And if you want immediately all space to be available, you can actually delete it from some few PowerShell commanders. Yeah, so the project will be coming. There's a separate project as well, right, Hamid? So in the project, yeah, you will be using a lot of features. So surely you'll be getting a project in this course. Alright guys, so let's take a screenshot of this. Screenshot number 10, delete this site. So screenshot 10, right? Screenshot 10, delete this site. Well, yeah, we can just don't delete it, but just delete this site. We're gonna actually cancel it. Don't delete it. Okay, so screenshot 10, delete this site. The name is also spooky. Delete this site. So screenshot 10 and delete this site, right? So, well, guys, this would be it. And let's go for another major topic till 11:30, and then we're gonna finish, right? So let's. Oh, okay. So it's no longer funny. Okay, I need to come up with something better. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. So, okay, guys, go ahead and upload all this, and yeah, I'll come up with something new. But you can't upload, obviously, because I didn't create that. So, okay, wait for the upload. Alright, have a good night. Week5 upload. Deadline tonight. So guys, refresh and upload, and see you next week.